Well, today I wanted to do my demo on how to make these lovely flowers, and once these are on a stem and bunched together, they actually sell very well at craft fairs. I actually sell them for £1 a stem, and they're very simple and very cheap to make. Now, the supplies I use for the main paper squares, here we are. I get this paper pack from the Works here in the UK. There's over 400 sheets in here, and that is £5. It's absolutely excellent quality paper for doing this with. In fact, it's excellent for any origami skills, and it's lovely when something's a perfect square straight away for you. So as I say, I get those from the Works. This is a seasonal one, but it doesn't matter for this one. They do 3 or 4 different designs that they change throughout the year. When you're in the Works, they're usually on the very bottom shelf next to the PVA glue. There we go. Now, talking of glue, I have an old, but I refill it regularly. I now buy the large one, but I use Anita's tacky glue. Absolutely love it. This was a small one that the labels come off, but I now refill it from the much larger bottle as it's more cost effective, and you can get that from the range, or your local craft supply will no likely sell that. Right, for attaching the stems, then it's a Poundland special. Yoo-hoo. And there's no point going anywhere other than Poundland, because this 60ml tube is only £1, whereas if you go to Wilkinson's or the range, they'll sell you the 7ml tube for £1.99. So get yourself into Poundland for your Yoo-hoo glue. We're also going to need a bit of lift-off tape, double-sided tape. Now again, I get this from the Works. There we are, that's the brand new one, and they're actually, so there's 25 meters there for £1, and I find it's excellent. Does everything I need it to do. So we'll be using some of that. But that wonderful pound wall in the range, again, part use packet because I've used 4 of them already, but 16 flowers for £1 there. But they do some remarkable other things, and just now and then you may have to use some washi tape just to pretty up where it attaches to the stem. So again, this is a Poundland washi tape roll. There's 6 rolls of washi tape in here for £1 from Poundland. Now these don't tend to be in the craft section. These tend to be in the party section, where they sell the straws and kids' party hats and paper plates, and usually they're in the section with all the hen party stuff. So that's where I get those from. So what are we looking at? 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 11 pounds in total, plus my skewers, which the wooden skewers from the range, 79p for 100, and I use those as the stems. And this will make you over 80 flowers. So you'll get 80 of these with this little bit for £18. Okay, well, here I am then. This, I suppose, is the true beginning of my first ever demo video. So it's good to be with you, and I hope it goes well and that you'll be interested in to see some more. So today's project is to make these lovely little origami flowers. And what we'll do, I've showed you all the material, so you'll take a sheet of paper. Now I'm using 10 by 10 centimetre squares here. You could go down, I wouldn't go any smaller than around 7. They get a bit tight on the fold for the centre. So 10s, and especially as this pack's available, it's excellent. Start with your pattern down, and you're going to make a nice diagonal fold. It doesn't matter if you're not exactly on. Now my advice as well is, normally we'd grab our bone folder and we'd be, you know, making these, but they look a lot more natural if you don't 100% burnish in that fold. As I've done there, one quick press and that's more than enough. I advise that you don't burnish them. Go any further, and to go further I should say, bring the corners up, and again notice just a slight press. No need to be using your bone folder with these. There we are. Okay, now we're going to do what I call a push fold. There's other ways of doing this, but this is the way I find it, just by pushing. So if you can see, the point's up, and I'm literally going to do that. Push the fold, push the paper down so it forms this diagonal. Push it down and line that crease, the crease on here with the crease on the main square. Just pull that down so we end up with a diagonal, which from the back is your patterned and your plain triangle. I'll show you that again on this side. So open your fold up, just pop your finger in and it'll naturally start to fold down. You just push it. And there we have our Dutch maid's hat. I'm going over there. Camera skills, Mark, I'd have to learn these. There we are. Possibly haven't picked a good pattern to do this with on your first time, but hey ho. Next thing we do, please take the small corners, we fold those down. Again, not precise folds, just enough to hold it down. And onto that step, and then we fold those in again. 1, 2. And we end up with all just pattern paper on the front, and on the reverse we can only see pattern. Okay, if you can see any of the underside of your paper, you have unfortunately folded it incorrectly. Okay, we now take our double-sided tape, and now this is purely to make it cost effective. What I do, do bite my nails, it's a very bad habit. So I take about 1.5 inches. Now this is excellent tear tape, it does. Tears fabulous, this tape from the works. And I just slice it diagonally, because that will do 2 flowers. I'll save one there, one piece then. There we are with our folds. I'm going to put this triangular shape down here because we're going to tape those 2 folds together. Just take that peel off. Look how easy that comes off as well. And then we take our positioning so bad. We take our pieces. I've put my tape down this foot on the front, and we'll just clasp those together. Give that a little pinch. And then we'll just center up those there. And that's your first one. Now we need 5 of these in total, so I'll just very quickly do another one. I'm going to use a more contrasting paper so you can see the design better. Here we go. I think you'll see it a bit better now with a definite pattern on the other side. So, face down. Then your diagonal. Your outside corners up on both sides to form a square. Okay, notice again, no big burnishing, just a slight flap. Bring that triangle back up, pop your finger inside, it naturally starts to fold down, and you can simply tease that into place, just like so. Again, you'll notice as I put my finger in, you see it starts to fold down automatically, and you can just push that down to the floor to create that diagonal. To get our Dutch maid's hat, from there it's the triangles down, and then back over. So we have full pattern on one side, full pattern on the other with those 2 little triangles. Again, if you've any of your backside showing, you have folded incorrectly on one of them. So again, I'll take that second triangle I have left from that first one, and I'll apply my tape down the foldy section. Just peel off that lift off. And we take those in, whoops, we take those in together. Little pinch while the tape grabs hold. You could have used your tacky glue there, or any of your wet glues, especially if you're using this paper from the works. It has a slight coating on, it's excellent for wet glues. And you can see now with the more contrasting paper how that pattern on the inside and those folds create the stamen on the inside, which you can't really see properly. On that first one, I apologise, I picked a bad colour, but that's much easier. So I'll do the others with this paper for the rest of this demo. So now we've got this one. We want a few more of those. And so here we have all 5. So now we just have to form them together, and this is where I'll take my Anitas, just check there's no blockage in the nozzle. That's why I keep this small bottle. The small bottles are so much easier to keep unclogged. Just one little push and it's away, you see. Whereas the larger bottles, although they are more economical, they clog a lot more. Right, so I'm going to take my tacky glue and just down the edge of one of these pieces I'm going to apply just a little and put the two together. Try and keep the bottom point as close as possible while it's drying. And the great thing with this tacky glue is it has a good hold well before it's actually dry. As you can see, that's excellent. So I can put those two down for a second and prepare the next one to attach. As I said, the great thing about these papers from the works is that they don't absorb the glue. It just adheres really well, and the paper doesn't go soggy or crinkle as some papers can do when you use a wet glue, as I'm sure you're all aware. Okay, so here's my next one. Pop that on. Again, to get the point as best as I can. As I say, yeah, a few seconds and the glue starts to cure, and it really does grab on, this glue. I love it. Yes, there we are. Next one. Do hope my webcam's doing this justice for you, but I don't have any of those professional things you see on some YouTube videos where, you know, high pro quality cameras and all that lot. I'd rather spend it on crafting supplies. Number 4. Again, it's the points I want to get as close as possible. And the insides, mind. Okay, and the final one, of course, we'll want some glue on both sides now. Take this and get that in there. Hold that point. Try and clamp them all together as best I can. And the great thing about this now is to let it actually dry by letting it have its weight on itself, because it sort of pushes them all together. although I'm a little far apart there on the centre, so I'm just going to pull those in. While yeah, I'll do this. That there. Now I can just leave it to sit like so for a few seconds. Let's get this cleaned up nicely and packed away. I was talking about those MDF discs. I got these from the range about 6 months ago. I must have had a project in mind at the time, but then you know what it's like, crafters. Let's buy it because it's a bargain, and then you get it home and it never gets used. But they are getting used now on some of these flowers. These are the discs. They're all little MDFs. This was one pack. Now I'm a bargain crafter, so these must not have been any more than £2.50, £3 for all these. But I'm actually going to take one of these. Here we are. And create a centre. But I'm going to do those later, because what I am going to do on this particular one is, as I showed you on those others, I'm going to take one of these from the pound wall in the range, say 16 in a pack. They have a nice little... Now I cut that, if I'm using these on, can you see the stem there? I cut those off if I'm using them on a card I'm making, but in this instance I leave them on because it gives you a good centre point to go into the flower. And as that's actually going now, what I shall do is apply some tacky glue all the way around this flower. I'm just going to drop a little on the very centre. I want to get this centre a little bit closer. Can't actually believe how long this one's taking me. I can normally whiz these up in a minute or two. It must be nerves with the camera. There we are, that's holding together a bit more now. And I shall just very simply drop that into there with the glue on. And I think that finishes that off very, very well. I'll just leave that there for a second to dry a little bit more. These are the skewers from the range, 79p for 100. It's an absolute bargain, and they make wonderful stems for your flowers. Now, they are sharp. They do have the sharp pointy end. And actually, I've just had a thought. If that hasn't taken yet, which it hasn't, this is excellent. I can put this through the centre to come out there. I can actually now attach... Oh, this is where my eyesight is going. There we are. I can attach that centre flare to that, bring that down, reapply like so, and as it's drying, if you just try and make it as symmetrical as possible. Don't make it too perfect. They don't look as good if they're bang on. But I don't think we're doing too bad. Just to finish it off, to help with keeping it in place, these are, again, these wonderful Poundland washi tapes. I'm just going to build enough up that prevents it from sliding off. Here. There we go. Like so. And then we have finally our finished products. Aren't they lovely? Now imagine 5 or 6 of those. All placed very nicely in a lovely decorated coffee jar. You have a nice little bouquet you could give someone for their birthday as a thank you for helping them during the COVID crisis. But very easy to make, very cost effective, and those of you that do craft fairs, they sell very, very well indeed. Well, I very much hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Depending on comments, etc. If everyone thinks, oh my god, Mark, it was naff, then I shan't bother. But hope you enjoyed it. From me, Predagast, Mark James, Cardcraft by Mark James. It was a pleasure, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye bye.